Okay, in this video we're going to look at how we're going to create the photo palette for the Fireplay project. You can find the instructions for this on page 118 and 119 of your book. Your book is actually going to give you two different ways to do this. You can bring these images in to the photo palette via the Adobe Bridge, or you can create an action to bring these in by doing copy and paste on each one of the files. The actions are pretty easy to do, but I think the Adobe Bridge is going to be much easier to work with on this. Now, one thing that I have discovered, and I've had a couple of students who were not able to get these images to open up in Bridge or from Bridge to Photoshop all in the layers on one file, is that when you're using the Adobe Bridge 2018 version, you do not have the option to do that. So I'm not exactly sure why they took that out in the 2018 version, but it's there in the 2019 version. So make sure that you go to your dashboard and you update to the 2019 version of Adobe Bridge before trying to do this, okay? Always try to keep your software updated as much as you can. I know I'm kind of bad for letting mine lapse sometimes too. Just go to your Bridge, and if you have a, well, I'll show you. If you have, like on InDesign, I have an update here. All I have to do is click on that, and it automatically begins my update. So make sure that you're doing that when you're trying to follow these tutorials, especially if you're having some type of a problem and not seeing what the book is telling you you should see. And then sometimes we update and things are taken away that the book is showing that we have. So that makes it a little complex as well. But if you do run up on that, just let me know and we'll try to find a workaround for that. Okay, it's really hard to keep the books that we get as updated as the software is, because as you know, software updates every day, and our textbooks are, well, they're just for each term. So I do try to stay on top of the textbooks and try to get you the newest textbooks as possible as I can possibly get for you each term. But sometimes we have to resort back to some older texts. So like you might have to use a 2018 text in the year 2019, and that would only be because the 2019 text was not available at that time, or the newer text, whatever year we're dealing with at that time. Okay, so with that all out of the way, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into Photoshop, and we're not going to create a file. Instead, well, we're not really, what we can do is we can go ahead and browse through Adobe Bridge. So if you don't already have Bridge open, you can just go to it from Photoshop by going to File and Browse in Bridge. And it'll take it a minute to open. It says, and I just updated mine as well. Do you want to import load? No, I don't need to do all that. The Bridge extension Photoshop has been added to Bridge. Yes, I want to enable that. The Bridge extension Photoshop contact sheet has been added to Bridge. Yes. Okay, so now I'm up in Bridge, and this is my Bridge window. I'm going to squeeze it in here a little bit so you can see it all. And I'm going to navigate to my desktop because that's where I have this file at, or this folder at, and I think I called it Fire. Okay, and so there are all my Fire images. These down here, don't worry about those two. These are the ones. You probably don't have these. This is where I was playing around with something else. So I'm going to just click on one, hold my Shift key, and click the other ones. If you don't have these, all you have to do is do a Command or Control A, and it will select them all. But since I have these, I need to get rid of those. Okay, so you've got them all selected. You're going to go up here and go to Tools, slide down to Photoshop, and then we're going to go Load Files into Photoshop Layers. And it will take it a few minutes to process all this. There it goes. Starting to click them, bring them in. It really depends on what type of computer that you have. Basically, one of the big things is how much RAM you have, as to how fast this is going to happen for you. Okay, if you have like 4 gigs of RAM, it might be much slower for you than someone who has 8 gigs of RAM. Then also it's going to be dependent upon your processor that's in your computer. But it will get done, okay? So bear with it. Then it also tells us, and what I'm working off from here is in the tip box on page 118, where it's telling us how to do this through Bridge. Says to make sure that we expand the canvas by clicking Control-Alt-C, or if you're on a Mac, Command-Option-C. So I did that, and then we're going to input the pixel dimensions, and as our book tells us on page 119, in number 1, those dimensions are going to be 8,000 pixels. So I'm going to type in 8,000 and make sure you change this to pixels, because 8,000 inches would be quite huge. Okay, I should have changed it to pixels first. And then make sure the bottom one is 8,000 pixels. Okay, and I think we're good to go there. Okay, and then we're going to save this document, and we're going to give it the same parameters as given in step 1. So I'm just going to go File, and I'm going to go Save As. And I'm just going to find this folder on my desktop. Save yours wherever you need to save it at. Click here, and we're going to call this Fire _play _ what's it called? What's it telling us to name it? Photo. Sorry about that. Photo palette. And it is going to be a PSD. Remember, PSD is going to show us our layers, so we definitely need to make sure it's a PSD. And we're going to hit Save. And now you'll see that all of your layers are in this one file. So instead of opening them all up and having all these tabs across through here and having to use your drop-down menu constantly to go from one image to another, you have them all in one place. So this is going to be so much better when you're trying to figure out what you are wanting to see, you know, which files you're wanting to see. Now, if you hold Control or I'm sorry, Alt or Option on your computer and click on the eyeball of one of the files, either one of them, it doesn't matter. As you can see, I can click on any of these. It will turn off all the rest of them and only show it. Okay, and then if I do that again on the same one, it'll bring them all back up. Okay, I hope this helps you to get started on the photo palette. And this way it keeps you from having to do the actions. If you want to do the actions, feel free to do that. I don't mind at all. Either way is fine with me. But you will need this photo palette in order to do the tutorial for the Fireplay. One other thing that I wanted to show you all was how to make the fire images look really big in your layers panel. So what I have done is I just simply clicked on my drop down menu for my layers. See, I'm on my layers palette, and I'm going to go down to panel options, and actually can't see that. Let me see if I can, let me bring this layers up here so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go down to panel options, and on thumbnail size I've clicked the largest one, and I've also told my thumbnail contents to go with layer bounds. And what that does is that just shows the actual pixel information that's in that layer instead of showing all the white space around it as well. So if you click those two things I'll show you the difference in that. If I go from the smallest image size and showing the entire document, this is what my layers look like. Okay, and then if I change that to the largest thumbnail and use layer bounds, this is what my layers look like. And see, that's much easier to tell what I'm looking at here. Now, you can go ahead and straighten these out and like align them. Let me put this back over here. Oh, where'd I have it at? I think I had it here. And align these like by moving them all around, and you'll have to make your canvas a lot bigger. And that's fine if you want to do it that way so that you can see them better. You can even like go in and crop each one of these, because basically that's what you're doing with the actions. You're actually going in and just copying the fire part, selecting it and then pasting it over into your document, and it ends up making an image like what you would see. Let me find the page real quick, on page 121 in Figure B. So if you want to do that, that is perfectly fine, but that's up to you. Personally, I'm not sure that I would do that, but if you want to take the time to do it, by all means, and you think that will help. One other thing that the book also talks about is bringing in the smoke on this, and so you would have the smoke and the fire in the same place. Let me see if I can navigate and find those. Okay, so I was able to go find all of my smoke files. I had those on my Dropbox, and what I have done is I did the same thing as what we did with the fire. I went into Adobe Bridge, and I went to the tools, Photoshop, and brought all those files in as layers in Photoshop. So you'll see that they're all in here. I have also went ahead and just put those in a group. If you remember, the easiest way to do that is just select all and then go up here. Well, actually, I didn't select all, did I? Okay, let's just do this. Hold the Shift key and get them all. And then you can go, or you could just go New Group from Layers. Okay, but New Group, and just name that Smoke. I'm going to hit Cancel because I already have that. And that will put those all in a group for you. Okay, so now the way to get those from this file into the fire file is to just click on one, hold your Shift key, click on the last one. That way you have them all selected. Okay, and then we're just going to grab that and pull and go right over the tab for the fire play, and then we're going to bring down and let go. Okay, and it's bringing all your smoke in. Now, what you will have to do is put it back in a group. So I should have just waited till I brought those over. I'm going to do the drop down menu, New Group from Layers, and I'm going to call this Smoke. So now I have Smoke and I have Fire. Okay, and I can turn those off. As you'll see with my Smoke, they're all portrait images, so they are all laying on top of each other. But luckily, we're able to bring those in, and the panel options are the same for those. It's going to be large thumbnails, and it's going to be only the pixel information in each picture. So you can just click on those and decide which part of that you want to use, you want to copy, to bring in to put in your composite. All right, I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.